Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Grow2Market podcast. Uh, in this series, we're going to be talking about lots of subjects, but one of the main ones we're going to be talking about is actually demand generation. And on that point, I'm very excited today to be joined by Solomiia. We're going to be talking a little bit more about that subject, but if you want to start us off, Solomiia, just let us know who you are.
Hi, everyone. My name is Solomiia Bodnar. I'm a senior business analyst at Fractional Teams.
Great. Thanks, Solomiia. And I believe the subject we're going to have a bit of a conversation about today is about something called passive prospecting. Now, a lot of people might not know what that is. Can you just tell us a little bit about that?
Right. So passive prospecting is actually the way to do prospecting with as low effort as possible. So that you don't just do that in a regular way when you just look for people and reach out to them one by one, but you just keep that really easy and just make it a part of your everyday routine. And that is just the way how your customers are more capable of finding you.
Okay, wonderful. That sounds interesting. So it sounds like something where perhaps even business owners might be able to do this. Perhaps.
Course, yes, basically anyone, every employee in your company is capable of doing that and somehow contribute to the process of prospecting. So that is easier for you to find the people who you want to be useful for. And the same is for the people who are just looking for the solution like yours.
That's
And
great. So
yeah,
it's not as if we're looking to put the marketing team out of work or anything like that. It's more of a case that we're giving some empowerment to some people in the business to do an element, I guess, of what we're calling passive prospecting. So tell us a little bit more about how it actually works. What is it? How do people get started?
actually, in the first place, like the first thing that I would like to mention here, and we probably won't go into much detail because that could be a topic for an entirely different episode. But the first thing that you have to pay attention to is knowing your target audience really well and also your product value proposition, because that is the thing that can define all the further actions that you will have.
Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, the product value proposition is something we're going to be talking about later in this podcast series. But I think for now it's worth saying, if you just imagine, the understanding of what it is that your product or service does, how it meets your customer needs, how it matches with what's going on in the market dynamics, and what your company is capable of. I guess at a very high level, that's kind of what your product value proposition is. So yeah, sorry, please carry on.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you for that. And as well on target audience. So you probably want to make some personalized approach to your customers. And of course, some of your customers may be different, but you'd want just approach each of them in a different way. You may probably have like several types of them. So you will understand where do they go to find some information, where they are more active, and what do they actually want, like what are their needs. Like there will be some different type of them so that it will be easier for you to understand the people what you want to find, so that you will know the places where you need to go to find them or let them find you, in other words. So
Okay.
also you will understand what to talk about because you will know what those people are interested in. And as you probably already know, like potential customers and like all people in general, they might not be that much interested in you or your company or even in some personalized approach like to them directly, but they are interested in the solution of their issues or how you can actually help them to achieve some results. So that if you know your target audience, it is easier for you to understand what the results are people looking for, so that it is easier for you to understand what to talk about in the first
Okay,
place.
excellent. And I guess for a lot of the people who are listening to this series, they're going to be in the B2B tech industries, often telco, cloud, IT industries. So I'd imagine for a lot of those people, their audience is probably on LinkedIn, for example. Would that be correct to say?
Sure, like LinkedIn is one of the most famous social media for now in tech. Of course, you can use some other channels, but personally for me, that is number one, certainly for now. And basically, talking about the ways how to stay in demand. I would say that the first thing here, which might be obvious, but might be probably not that obvious, is to stay present and visible and searchable in general so that your clients can find you in the first place. Because among those clients that you have defined as your target audience, some of them are already looking for a solution like yours. Probably they don't know that you exist in general. So that if you just make yourself more visible and you just go out there where your customers can find you, it is just easier for them to get to know you. And some of them probably don't know about the solution like yours, but they have encountered the problem that you can help them resolve. So that is another option for them to understand that there is a way for them to make more profit, to find more customers for them, probably to improve their product and stuff like that. So there are multiple opportunities with just being present and visible. I think that is the most important thing to keep in mind in the first place.
Yeah, no, and I think it's fair to say that there's a lot of people out there on LinkedIn that I think we often sometimes joke that they're called lurkers. You know, they kind of hang around and don't contribute into conversations, don't get involved in sharing information. I think some people are a little bit worried that what they maybe have to say either isn't of value, or maybe they feel a little bit nervous about social media. But it's interesting what you're saying that, you know, for a lot of these people, they are senior or experienced people in business. They probably made a lot of connections on LinkedIn, and it's almost like it's a kind of latent, dormant marketplace that they're just not communicating with. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And actually, on that, I wanted to mention that the telecommunication companies, like one of the sectors, they actually have a great advantage if they haven't started like being that much present yet. Because I've been searching for a lot of telecommunication companies lately, and frequently it is quite difficult to find them. Like you can find them on some aggregators or something, like you just go to their website. Sometimes the website isn't that easy to find. And if you find them, you can actually understand that their product is quite good. But if you go to their social media, like you try to search their blog posts or anything, there is just nothing out there. So that it's just difficult to understand if they are active in general and if I can connect to them or not. Like, can I be their customer in general? Because I'd like to. I really like their product. But yeah, I just don't know if they're available now. And in terms of the people of C-level positions that you mentioned, actually, I just want to say that frequently these are actually the people who have like the most interesting things to say. Like they can have like really more value that some people who are usually like performing some social media posting, for example. That's like I'm not trying to somehow say that the social media marketers' work is not that important. That is, of course, but I just want to emphasize that the value that people with extensive technical background can present, it is actually extremely high, and it is very beneficial for them to express their thoughts and express their reflections on anything they have read recently, because this way they can just show to their audience that they can provide lots of value because they actually know their product very well and they know their industry.
That's really interesting, and it's funny. I do see that as well. It's often a bit of a paradox that sometimes even if you look at a company level, companies with some of the smartest, most innovative, valuable tech often aren't the ones who are very good at talking about it. It's really interesting. You know, it's almost like, you know, you sometimes feel very frustrated. It's like you've got this great product. Why aren't you talking about it? You know. So it's a really interesting approach. I guess what you're saying is that for a lot of these execs and not even execs, but just like senior product technical people in those companies, they can almost take this into their own hands and start to communicate with those communities that, well, frankly, they're a part of because they're also senior IT people. Would that be fair to say?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Basically, you just started to talk on some of the things that I would like to mention during my talk about the exact way to become more present and active. And starting to speak about that, I would actually like to take a step back and first say that in the first place, you'd want to create an environment for yourself so that it will help you to create some content and to come up with some more ideas and just understand better what is going on in your industry. So I'm sure that everyone, like pretty much everyone, already has some relevant content on their feed. But what I'd like to emphasize here that it is important just to take like 30 minutes of your time and to check whether you have done everything to enhance your environment, and have you like connected, are you connected in general to your potential customers, to your competitors, to some giants in the industry? Like, do you follow what they are talking about? Probably there is something else that you can follow. You can probably subscribe to some newsletter. You can subscribe to some YouTube channels. So that basically every day when you are just going through your everyday tasks, you will just come across some news here and there, some discussions, some social media posts, and you will just see the ideas and the problems that people are facing, so that it will be easier for you further to create your own content and create your own reflections.
That's great. Yeah. And it's often the first step in any plan, isn't it? Really preparation, making sure you've prepared the environment, as you say. I guess if I take a practical kind of example of LinkedIn, I guess that means your profile. And as you said before, it's your connections and the connections you follow and the groups you're a member of, the newsletters maybe you're receiving and things like that. Yeah, no, I can absolutely see that. And it's quite sad in a way that you see some of these people who are obviously, highly skilled and people with very interesting, exciting things to say, and they have a profile that almost makes them seem anonymous. And of course, everyone's entitled to a degree of anonymity. But of course, when you're running a business or in a senior position, it's a real shame to not be out there and talking about what you're doing. So yeah, tell us a little bit more about what you should do next once you've created that environment.
Yeah, so basically the next thing would be basically creating some content and expressing yourself. Like it shouldn't be always like related to the promotion of your product. As I said, you can just reflect on some ideas that you've heard. And it shouldn't always be like a blog post article or something like that. You can just use different forms. Sometimes it can be just a short article. Sometimes it can be a social media post again. Sometimes it can be discussion. Sometimes it can be a podcast. It can be a webinar. There are lots of different forms that you can use to express yourself and just describe the problem that you have encountered and some solution that you used. Like that can be related to the tech in general, probably to some industry trends. That can be related to your everyday like work life, probably something like in the organization of your industry, probably something that happened with your employees. Just basically anything that you have managed to resolve, and you can try to describe that like in any form which is the most suitable for you. And as I said, like sometimes it can be more extensive and you would need to spend some more time on that. But sometimes you can just make it short. Like the main thing here is to make that regular, just to make yourself active so that your company will be more present online so that it will be easier to find again. And
So
sorry.
yeah. No, no, that's great. No, and I just wanted to say it's a good point about making it regular and not every piece of content has to be highly polished and it's interesting because of course we're at the minute we're recording a podcast and we're having a conversation, but I think we should be honest and clear here that we haven't rehearsed this conversation. We probably had some key points about things we wanted to talk about, but certainly we haven't sat here and recorded this with lots of rehearsals. And I think that's how it can be. If there's something you know about, something that you have experience of and can demonstrate knowledge of, then actually you don't really need to spend a huge amount of time polishing and preparing something that is of this incredibly high production value. So yeah, sorry to interrupt. Carry on.
Yeah, actually, you mentioned that we are recording the podcast, and I just wanted to say that if you work for a company, like you are already doing something all the time, and I just want to emphasize that everyone in your company always has something to say. Even if you don't think that you do, like probably you just haven't given that lots of thought. And actually, some of the solutions that you have come up with, they might seem quite obvious to you at this point, but for some other people, they may not seem so obvious. So if you're just looking for some ideas, I just want to emphasize that they are frequently like very near to you. So you just have to look at that closer. And another
Very
thing,
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah. Sorry, I was just going to say it's really interesting that point about when you know things are only easy if you know how. That old saying, it's kind of what you know isn't necessarily what everyone else knows, and sometimes the most almost mundane of pieces of knowledge that you feel you own that actually you can't assume that the majority of people will know that. So yeah, no, it's a great point.
Another important thing that I just wanted to mention here, just quickly, is the search engine optimization. Like you have probably heard about that. And again, I won't talk too much about that because that is basically the way when you basically, let's say, include some keywords into your article. Like, of course, there are lots of things apart from that. But what I want to emphasize here, if you just tweak your SEO a little bit. You can just do that from time to time. You don't have to like pay too much attention to that. But still, if you include that into your content creation activity, you can again like make yourself more searchable, make your company more searchable. And basically, it doesn't require a lot of effort. But still, if you do that tweak from time to time, you just enhance your chances to find your clients and make it easier for your clients to find you. That
Yeah,
is
it's a great point
really,
about SEO. I agree, and it's interesting. I was at an event not that long ago. The question was asked to the audience about, when they go into the search engine and they want to search for a solution or search for a particular technology, how often do they click the sponsored link at the top of the search results? Basically the paid ad. And interestingly, a lot of people, in the tech industry, they're very savvy and they do understand, that ads are just paid placement, and they skip past the ads. The majority of people in that room, they said they skip past those ads and they go straight for, the first piece of organic content. So your point about SEO is great. And certainly SEO is a subject. It's a massive subject. We'll be covering it later in the series, but it's one that's very close to our hearts and fractional teams, of course. And we do a lot of SEO work for our clients. But yeah, it's a big subject, but one worth at least thinking about, I guess, when you're putting together your content. I agree with you.
yeah. So basically, that's why I just wanted to mention it here shortly because that is just one little thing that has a great influence on
Yeah,
your content. Uh,
absolutely. I guess I'd also ask a question, um, what do you do in a situation where, maybe you don't have the time to write content? You know, maybe you're very busy in your day-to-day job and you think, well, that's great. If I had all the time in the world, I'd love to be on LinkedIn promoting what I do, what the company does, the latest technology, things like that. Um, of course, we often talk about AI, but is that a way that people can save a bit of time?
Yeah, there actually have been a lot of discussions regarding AI, and the problem related to having some time that you mentioned is actually a big one, especially among those senior level executives. Because again, they have a lot of things to say, but they just don't have the time to do that. The reason I mentioned some short form is actually also related to that. But still, if you'd like to create some long form, in terms of AI, what I would like to say in the first place is that like some people believe that AI will not replace human copywriters. And at some point, they are correct, I think, because, of course, there are some articles when you just have to use your human experience. And sometimes AI just can't do that. And uh, articles written by a human will be better anyway. But there are some areas where AI can actually be not that bad. But I think that one of the most important aspects here to pay attention to is that you don't have to use some generic AI if you don't want to have generic results. Because I think that AI is kind of an instrument and lots of companies are already using that as a basis for their engine. And some companies are like, they are using that in very different directions. And if you just take something like very popular, like ChatGPT, for example, you can use it, of course, but I think that it will be quite difficult for you to be like specific enough so that you can get the result that you actually need, because that is a tool that can be used very widely. So that I would say that you would need to use some specific tool if you want to get some results related to your industry specifically or related to your audience. So you just want to be specific with AI, and that is the main way how you can use it.
Yeah, no, that's great. And of course, I think it's all about getting a balance as well, isn't it? Because if you produced all of your work with AI, then you would probably find yourself starting to run out a little bit of ideas, and maybe also finding that a lot of your content is maybe not ideally in your voice. It's the same thing with written content. Personally, I write a lot of content. I work with some senior execs, and I actually do ghostwriting for them. I won't name them here, of course, but it's something it's something that I do and we do as a business, and we always try and get the voice of that person across, and I think most of the time we manage it, but absolutely, it's sometimes nice to have some original content from people to balance things out. So I believe as well, in terms of AI, you're quite passionate about one of the products, which is called Copy Ready Now. So I believe you're going to talk to us about that in a few moments. But just before you do that, I'd like to thank you very much for taking time out of your busy day to talk to me about passive prospecting and this whole area of demand generation. It's been really interesting, and I'm sure our listeners have got a lot out of it too. So thanks, Solomiia.
And thank you, Tim. It was a pleasure talking to you as well. And of course, we're going to transition now to the workshop. So I'm going to show you how you can actually create an article using the AI copywriting tool. And I think that I can probably just share my screen in a few moments. Using an AI copywriting tool, Copy Ready Now. And we are going to create the article for C-level management in the telecommunication industry. We are going to speak about some trends in the telecommunication industry, and one of the most trending and famous thing in pretty much every industry now is AI. But instead of talking simply about AI in telecommunication, we're going to make that a bit more specific, and we're going to talk about AI in telecoms network management, for example. Here we can select some of the background options for the article. We have a few drop boxes here. So the first one is industry. We are going to select telecommunications here. Then we have to select reader's experience. And here I'm going to go with the experienced one. Then we can select audience, and I'm going to go with the technical since we are oriented at C-level management with quite a lot of technical background. Then here we can have this content area specified, and there are a few options that can be suitable, and I think I'm going to experiment and go with the scientific option here. Then we have the content goal, and we don't want to sell anything with this article, so we don't want to convert the reader to a customer with the help of that. And we want this article to be kind of a standalone one, so we don't want to encourage the reader to learn more. So we're going to select just the first option, educate and not sell to the reader. The last one Dropbox here is the tone of voice, and there are a few options here that are suitable. I think I am going to go with the informative option here. Then we have the structure section where we can select the balance between bullet points and paragraphs. You can have more paragraphs here, or you can have lots of bullet points here. I think I'm going to stick with the middle one here where we have an equal balance of paragraphs and bullet points. The next section here is wordiness. So we can select the length of sentences. We can have more short sentences, a mix of short and long, or more long sentences. So I think I'm going to go with the one here where we have more long sentences than short ones, since that is going to be quite a technical article. Then here we can select keywords. I think we're going to go with something quite simple but still quite specific. I think I'm going to specify AI here, telecoms, and network management. Right. Then we can have the additional reference here. We can specify some external URL to refer to, or we can specify our subject. I'm going to go with the subject here. And the subject would be, for example, the use of AI in telecoms network management. Right. Then we have two toggles here. The first one is whether to use cliche language typically generated by AI, and no, we do not want that. So we leave that here as it is. And the last toggle here is to specify a problem and solution that this content piece should focus on. So generally you can just skip this one and leave it disabled, but in this case I think we are going to specify the problem and the solution. So the problem can be, for example, challenges with scaling network capacity and traffic control, for example, in real time. Right, then the solution would be related to AI, for example, how AI can help using a range of tools available on the market today. That's it. So we can just review the options that we have selected here and click Generate Copy button. So here we can give the wizard just a couple of moments to generate the copy. So basically with the problem and solution options there, you can just personalize your copy really a lot, like specifying the problem that you have encountered and the solution that you have come up with. And with the drop boxes there, you can just experiment and select some of them which are more suitable than others and see what the output will be like. That's right, we have the article generated here. We can see the heading here, we can see the introduction. We see the problem related section here related to the challenges in network management in telecommunication. And then we have sections related to the solution that we have specified previously. And we also have the conclusion here. So basically you can just use this article already, or in case you are not that much satisfied with the output, you can just use the rewrite content button here. And for example, we'd like to avoid this numbered list here. We'd like to replace it with a bullet point list. So let's say we can specify here replace numbered list with bulleted list. And just click the rewrite copy here and give some more seconds for the wizard to rewrite the copy. So basically in that rewrite copy section, you just can specify anything you like you're talking to a regular human. The wizard is going to understand that. Let's wait just a couple more moments. That's it. So here you can see that the numbered list was replaced with bullet points. So now I'm pretty much happy with the output. I can just click the copy to clipboard button here and use my text wherever I want to. So basically that's pretty much it. So as you can see, we have spent just a couple of minutes to generate an article. And that's how you can use it for your industry and for your goals. And that's everything for today. I wish you to have a happy content creation and hope to see you soon.